What if the end of the universe is just the beginning? Could everything we know, stars, time, even you, be caught in an infinite loop? Tonight, we dive into a question older than memory and bigger than space. Is the universe looping forever? If this kind of cosmic wonder calms your mind, like this video, subscribe for more science that helps you sleep. And drop a comment telling us where you're watching from. Earth, Moon, or maybe a parallel universe. Now, your story begins. Welcome to Science for Sleep, a quiet place where your thoughts can wander gently, and the universe rocks you to sleep with wonder. Tonight, we ask something big and strange. Not just whether time moves forward, but whether it might fold back. Not just whether the universe expands, but whether it breathes. Let your breath slow. Let your mind unfurl. We're not just going forward. We might just be going back. Time seems simple. You wake. You sleep. Things move. Things change. Moments come. Moments pass. Time feels like a river flowing in one direction. Smooth. Forward, never repeating. But tonight, you question that river. What if time curves? What if it loops? Long ago, before watches or calendars, humans looked to the sky and saw repetition. The moon returned. The seasons cycled. The stars circled above them like a great cosmic wheel. To them, time was not a line. It was a loop. Even now, your life follows rhythms. Day and night, breath in and out, beginnings and returns. But modern science has a new idea. That time might be shaped by entropy, the tendency for things to move from order to disorder, from whole to broken, from hot to cold, like a teacup cooling, like a star fading. Entropy gives time its arrow. It whispers, go forward. Never backward. And yet, the deeper laws of physics don't agree. They don't care which way time flows. The equations work both ways, forward and reverse. A perfect symmetry hidden in plain sight. So then, why do we remember the past, but not the future? Why does the river seem one way? Maybe it's not time that flows, but us. Maybe time is not a road, but a thread we're spinning as we go, a spiral, a heartbeat, a breath, and maybe, just maybe, that thread could loop. So you wonder, if time can loop, can space do the same? Breathe slowly. Imagine not a static universe, but one that moves, not just spinning, not just expanding, but pulsing. The universe, too, may breathe, not with lungs, not with sound, but with space itself. It expands. Every moment, it stretches, not like an object being pushed into emptiness, but like emptiness itself getting bigger. Galaxies don't fly through space. Space grows between them, like a fabric swelling, like a balloon gently inflating in all directions. The cosmos expands. You can't see it happening with your eyes, but we know it's real, because ancient starlight tells us. Everything is moving away. The farther you look, the faster it recedes. Not because the stars are escaping, but because space itself is blooming. This is the inhale, a great breath drawn across billions of years. At first, scientists thought expansion might stop. That gravity, the gentle pull of everything toward everything, would slow the breath. Eventually, maybe, the inhale would end, and an exhale would begin. The big crunch. A future where galaxies collapse inward. Space shrinks, and time itself might reverse. A universe folding in on itself like a sigh. A return. A rebirth. But new discoveries tell another story. a stranger one. The universe isn't slowing down. It's speeding up, as if something invisible is pushing harder and harder. From within the fabric of space. We call it dark energy. We don't know what it is, but we see what it does. It fills space, and the more space there is, the more dark energy exists. It doesn't thin. It doesn't fade. It accelerates the expansion, like a breath that just keeps rising, never returning. And so, the dream of the big crunch begins to fade, and a new mystery takes its place. Will the universe stretch forever? Will stars grow lonely? Will galaxies drift until nothing touches anything again? Or could this be only one part of a longer rhythm? Some theories say yes, that even this endless expansion might be temporary, that a deeper cycle lies hidden behind what we can see, that time and space are part of a cosmic heartbeat, a pulse that spans eternities. Maybe our universe was not the first. Maybe another came before it. And maybe another will come after. Scientists imagine this in models. Universes born from the collapse of previous ones. Big bangs followed by big crunches. Loops within loops. Some call it the cyclic universe. Others call it the big bounce. Each cycle, a rise, a fall, an expansion, a collapse, a spark, a breath, a silence, and then another spark. And maybe in every new universe, the rules change, just a little, a different physics, a different kind of galaxy, a different way to dream. Or maybe it all happens the same, a cosmic déjà vu, repeating across time, like a song played again and again, with slight variations in every chorus. You are floating in one of those verses now, one breath in the chest of something infinite. And the question that stirs, is this the only breath, or one of many? You begin to feel it in your body. This rhythm, this cosmic inhale, the slow widening of everything. And you wonder, if the universe is breathing in, will it ever breathe out? Or has it already? Maybe the evidence is already here, not just in how the universe moves, but in the soft background glow, left behind by the first light of time. That light still shines. It's all around you, ancient, silent, gentle, and in it, some believe, maybe the whispers of cycles past. If the universe has looped before, would it leave behind a trace? Would there be a fingerprint? A whisper? A memory? Science says, maybe. All around you, right now, is the faintest glow. Not sunlight, not starlight, but something older. It's called the cosmic microwave background, the CMB. And it's the afterglow of the universe's first breath. A soft, low hum of warmth, left over from the Big Bang. Light that has stretched and cooled for almost 14 billion years. This glow touches everything. Mountains, oceans, cities, you. It's invisible to your eyes, but with the right instruments, it appears as a faint shimmer across the entire sky, the same in every direction, like a halo that wraps the universe. This light didn't come later. It was born with time itself. Before stars, before atoms. The universe was hot and dense, a glowing fog of energy. As it expanded, that fog thinned, atoms formed, and light, for the first time, was free to move. That light is still moving, still humming, still remembering. The CMB is a relic, a fossil of the first dawn, and inside its ripples might be secrets, tiny fluctuations, imperfections in the glow, became the seeds of everything. Galaxies, stars, life. But some scientists see more. They see patterns, circles, soft, smooth rings in the sky that don't quite match randomness. Some believe these rings are the scars of ancient events, collisions of black holes in a universe that came before ours. Events so powerful, they left an imprint that survived collapse and bled into the next Big Bang. That imprint might be what we see in the CMB today. This idea is known as conformal cyclic cosmology, a theory that imagines the universe as an eternal series of cycles, each one expanding, smoothing out, and fading into infinity, until eventually it becomes indistinguishable from the beginning of a new one. The end of one universe becomes the beginning of the next, a perfect loop, a quiet return, and maybe, just maybe, each cycle passes along information, not words, not stories, but structure, energy, a ripple of gravity, a ring of heat. Not everything survives, but something does. The CMB, in this theory, is not just a curtain covering the early universe. It's a window into the cycle before it. We can't see through it, but we can listen to it. And what we hear might be the echoes of a previous cosmos, a universe long gone, but not forgotten. So now the question isn't just, did the Big Bang happen? But also, was it the first? Or just the latest? In a long, long breath that the cosmos has been taking since forever? If the universe loops, this is where we'd look for proof. In the background glow, in the softest patterns, in the music of silence. And maybe you've heard it too, not with your ears, but in the strange familiarity of starry skies, in the quiet pull of déjà vu, in the unshakable feeling that this has all happened before, that we've spun this circle, traced this path, heard this song. You are not separate from that song. You are made from it. Your atoms were forged in ancient stars. Your breath carries heat. From the beginning of time, you are part of the cycle, part of the loop, part of the remembering. And as the universe stretches outward, you stretch with it. As it glows, you glow. As it loops, so do you. We believe time moves forward. We watch clocks tick. We age. We remember yesterday, but never tomorrow. To us, time feels like a one-way road. Always forward, never in reverse. But what if that's not the whole story? What if time, too, can loop? Scientists call this idea the arrow of time, the direction in which time appears to flow, from past to future, from order to disorder, from whole to broken. But here's something strange. The fundamental laws of physics don't actually care which way time flows. Whether time moves forward or backward, the equations stay the same. A film of particles in motion would look identical, played in reverse. So why does life feel so one-directional? Why do memories face the past? Why don't we feel time folding backward? The answer may lie in a quiet force called entropy, the tendency of systems to move from order to disorder. Ice melts, smoke rises, mountains erode, stars burn out. Entropy increases, and as it does, it defines the flow of time. That's why broken things don't unbreak, why coffee doesn't warm itself, why we grow older, but never younger. Entropy gives time its arrow. But what if the arrow isn't permanent? What if it can bend? Imagine this. The universe expands for billions of years. Galaxies drift apart. Stars flicker and fade. Entropy climbs higher and higher until it reaches a peak, a point where the cosmos can go no further outward. Then something changes. Expansion slows. Dark energy weakens. Gravity, long subdued, begins to win. The universe begins to contract. Galaxies draw closer. Distances shrink. Heat and energy condense. And entropy, that great driver of time, might begin to fall. In a universe collapsing inward, entropy could reverse. Not chaos into order, but order rising again. From the end of disorder. A kind of cosmic unbreaking. Not a rewind, exactly, but a symmetry. And if entropy falls, then the arrow of time might bend with it. Not as a jolt, not like flipping a switch, but like a gentle curve on a vast, eternal road. And then we arrive at the looping possibility. That time does not end in silence, but circles back into sound, a rhythm, a spiral, a breath, not a simple return to the past, but a recreation, a new beginning that echoes the last. Some scientists imagine it like this. A hill. Entropy climbs to the peak and then descends the other side. But to someone walking that hill, the descent feels the same as the climb. Forward is always where the feet are pointed, even if the world is folding behind them. So ask yourself, if time reversed, would you notice? If the universe looped, would it feel like déjà vu? Or would it feel just like now? Always now. Always moving forward. Even as the spiral turns. This is more than poetry. It's math. It's physics. It's the quiet suggestion that time is not a line, but a curve. And if time can curve, can it close? Can it complete a circle? And if it does, what happens at the meeting point, where end and beginning touch? Perhaps they blur. Perhaps they kiss. Perhaps they are the same. That's the mystery. In a looping universe, you are never at the end. You are always on the edge of a return. And so the arrow of time, so straight, so certain, might not fly forever. It might bend. It might spiral. It might return to where it began. Not because time is broken, but because the cosmos remembers how to begin again. And maybe that's why you sense, in the soft pull of memory, that life is not just forward motion, but something returning, something eternal, folding gently back into itself, a whisper in the dark that says, this is not the end. This is the loop. We often imagine the universe expanding forever, galaxies drifting apart, stars burning out, space itself growing colder and quieter with every passing in. But what if expansion isn't eternal? What if the universe, after breathing outward for billions of years, begins to breathe in? What if everything returns? This is not science fiction. This is physics, holding its breath at the edge of a question. What happens if the universe collapses? Right now, space is stretching. Galaxies are moving apart. The cosmic fabric is unfolding, like an ever-widening sail. But expansion requires balance. And something is always pulling in the other direction. Gravity, that quiet, tireless sculptor, the force that holds planets in orbit, draws moons around worlds, and bends light itself. Gravity never stops pulling, even as space expands. Gravity reaches for everything, and if it wins, everything may fall, not like a crash, not like chaos, but like a long, slow sigh, drawn backward. Scientists call this possibility the Big Crunch, a future where expansion halts, reverses, and the entire universe folds inward. Galaxies draw near, stars converge, The empty spaces between all things begin to close. The universe collapses. But collapse doesn't mean catastrophe. It might mean return. It might mean renewal. Because if everything folds inward, something extraordinary could happen. The heat of collapsing stars, the tension of colliding galaxies, the pressure of shrinking space, all of it might concentrate into a single, incomprehensible point. And from that point, a spark, a new beginning. Some physicists call this the Big Bounce, a cycle where each collapse leads to another bang. Not the end of time, but its turning, a universe reborn from the ashes of its own silence. And if that's true, then this universe, the one you live in, might already be part of that pattern. Not the first, not the only, but one loop, in an ancient spiral, one breath, in an eternal rhythm. You begin to picture it. Galaxies swirling inward, like leaves drawn into a whirlpool, stars glowing brighter as the space around them shrinks, black holes merging, growing, devouring everything, until all matter, all light, returns to the center. A final inhale, and then stillness, but not death, not disappearance. Stillness like a seed, like a coiled spring, like the moment before the music begins again. And from that pressure, from that quiet, a new burst, a new Big Bang, a new universe, blooming where the last one folded. And maybe, just maybe, this has happened before. Maybe it has happened again and again and again. Each universe collapsing, not into darkness, but into creation. Each loop, feeding the next. Each ending, becoming a beginning. In this view, collapse is not failure. It's part of the rhythm. It's the breath returning, the tide reversing, the circle closing, only to open once more. And if that's true, if collapse is inevitable, then maybe it's not something to fear. Maybe it's something to listen to. A whisper deep in the fabric of space that says, you've been here before. You'll be here again. So tonight, as the stars spin silently above you, you wonder, if the universe is breathing, when will it turn? If it collapses, what will remain? Will echoes from this cycle survive into the next? Will light, or gravity, or memory pass through the fire and return in another form? Will anything of now reach the next loop? Will anything of you? No one knows. But the possibility is real. The math allows it. And the mind, even while drifting to sleep, can follow the shape of that possibility. A loop, a rhythm, a return. The universe dreams of collapse, not as an end, but as a becoming, a recentering, a chance to begin again. And if this is true, then maybe nothing is ever truly lost. Maybe even now, the stars remember what it felt like to fall inward. And maybe you do too. Before stars, before atoms, before light or motion, there was something, or was there? If the universe is looping forever, then we must ask, not just what lies ahead, but what came before time, before the first breath of expansion, before the Big Bang. It's a question so vast, so impossible, it seems to fold in on itself. Because how do you measure before, when there is no time? Physicists will tell you, time itself began at the moment of the Big Bang. There is no before, they say, because time didn't exist yet. No clocks, no space, no cause, no effect, just a silence deeper than silence, a stillness untouched by direction. But is that truly the beginning, or just the latest loop in a cycle that never started? Because it never needed to? Some believe the Big Bang wasn't a beginning at all, but a transition, a bridge between endings and rebirths, a moment when one universe collapsed and another unfolded, a loop closed, a new one opened. This idea, once radical, is gaining quiet traction, not because we can see before, but because the math doesn't rule it out, and because the clues might be hiding in plain sight. Imagine this. A universe existed before ours. It expanded. It evolved. It aged. Then one day, it collapsed, inward gently, until all things returned to one. Then came a bounce, a birth, a new expansion, our loop. And maybe this has happened, not once, not twice, but endlessly, an eternal return, each loop reshaping the laws of physics, each cycle learning, adjusting, evolving, not time as a line, but as a spiral staircase, rising with each revolution. Some cosmologists suggest that even before our universe, there existed a strange, still state, a field of potential, a sleeping geometry, a canvas without color, a vacuum without emptiness. It wasn't something. It wasn't nothing. It was readiness, a pause with no clock, a breath held eternally, until a fluctuation, tiny, random, fundamental, ignited the spark. Space bloomed. Time stretched. Energy danced. The loop continued. And perhaps, just perhaps, what we call the beginning was only a crease in the cloth, a fold between cycles, a seam in the fabric, where one universe ends and another begins. If this is true, then even the most ancient light, the cosmic microwave background, is not the beginning. It is a chapter, a page, a clue, and we are not at the start of time. We are somewhere in the middle, somewhere on the spiral, somewhere between the inhale and exhale of a universe that breathes without ever being born. It is a humbling thought that time might have no edge, that what lies before the Big Bang is not a mystery to be solved, but a rhythm to be felt, cycles within cycles, patterns that repeat, not identically, but with evolution, like tree rings, like ocean tides, like memory itself. And perhaps this is why the idea of before stirs something deep in you, a sense of familiarity, as if your atoms remember, falling inward once before, as if your breath echoes, a breath that came long before this version of you. Because if the universe loops, then you are not a product of chance. You are part of a pattern, a return, a rhythm, and maybe that's why your mind leans into the silence before the start, because some part of you has been there, not as a person, not as thought, but as potential, waiting, breathing, becoming, before the before. What if the answer has been above us all along, not hidden in equations, but glowing gently across the sky, quiet, ancient, waiting, because even if the universe loops, even if cycles pass from one into the next, they might not leave words, they might not leave ruins, but they may leave patterns, and patterns can be read. Tonight, we look for clues, not in imagination, but in the real sky, in something every physicist knows about, but not everyone agrees on. The cosmic microwave background, that faint afterglow of the Big Bang, the thermal whisper, from the dawn of our time. It fills the universe. It's everywhere, and it may hold a secret. Scientists have scanned this background, mapped it, measured every flicker, every ripple. It is not smooth. It's dimpled, wrinkled, filled with subtle temperature variations, tiny fluctuations that seeded galaxies, stars, and the vast structure of everything. But inside that glow, some physicists noticed something unusual: concentric circles, soft, nested rings of temperature. Not random, but suspiciously smooth, and too circular. These aren't illusions. They are real features in the data, seen again and again, in different surveys, under different conditions. To most, they are quirks, cosmic noise, statistical coincidence. But to others, they are footprints, remnants, echoes, signs that this universe may not be the first. One physicist, Sir Roger Penrose, believes these circles are evidence of conformal cyclic cosmology, a theory where our universe is just the latest in an eternal chain of expanding and fading cosmoses. In his view, the circles were caused by supermassive black hole collisions in a universe that came before ours. So powerful were those collisions that their energy punched through the collapse, leaving imprints in the fabric of the next cosmos, in our sky, like fingerprints on new glass from an old hand. And if this theory is true, then the cosmic microwave background is not just the echo of our Big Bang, but also the archive of another age, a record from a universe that no longer exists. But somehow, some part of it survived. Imagine that. A flash, older than time as we know it, still glowing, soft rings of memory, written across the dome of space, like cosmic tree rings. Each ring, an event, a story, each circle, a ripple from a life before life. And yet, we can't be sure. The data is difficult. The sky is noisy. The patterns could be real, or tricks of our hopeful minds. But still, the possibility remains that we can look into the sky and see not just the past, but the past of the past. That the night above you is not only vast, but recursive, layered, looped, a mirror, reflecting a mirror, and it brings a quiet comfort to think the universe might remember itself, that the sky you stare into at night is not just telling you where you are, but where you've been, that you, in your brief moment of breath and thought, are connected, not just to this cycle of time, but to others, cycles long gone, universes long faded, but not lost, because their light still glows, and so does yours. And maybe, just maybe, when this cycle ends, some ring of it will carry forward into the next. Not everything survives, but some patterns do, and sometimes they appear as circles in the sky. You felt it before, a moment that seems familiar, a thought that arrives, as if remembered, before it ever happened. Déjà vu, a flicker of something repeating. But what if it's more than a feeling? What if the universe itself is rewinding? Not metaphorically, not philosophically, but literally, turning back, replaying everything, exactly as it was. If the universe loops forever, does it return to the same place, or just to the same shape? Does it reinvent itself each time, or does it rewind like a perfect recording? You sit with this question, and suddenly, you are not just drifting into sleep. You are drifting through memory, through time, through a pattern that may have played before. Because if time is not a straight line, and if the universe loops, then everything you're experiencing might have happened already. This exact conversation, this breath, this star, this version of you, again, and again, and again, Some physicists call this the eternal return, an idea that stretches from philosophy to physics, that in a universe with finite particles, finite combinations, and infinite time, everything that can happen must happen eventually, and not just eventually, but repeatedly, endlessly. If the loop is perfect, then the story repeats. The stars form, the earth spins, life awakens, you are born, you dream, then the universe folds and begins again. Same laws, same structures, same outcome, everything, repeating, down to the smallest thought. It's a chilling idea, and a comforting one, because it means nothing is ever lost, but also nothing is ever new. You wonder, if this has all happened before, then do you already know how it ends? Or are you simply meant to live it again, without knowing, like a character in a book, who believes it's the first page, even when it's the thousandth read? But physics has its own twist on this. Some theories suggest that when the universe collapses, if it ever does, time itself may reverse, not loop, but literally rewind. Imagine entropy, that driver of time's arrow, unwinding, order increasing, heat concentrating, stars unburning, galaxies unspinning, you unaging, your thoughts returning to earlier forms, memory unmaking itself, a full reversal of everything. To us, inside the loop, it would feel like forward motion. We'd still perceive cause and effect, still feel time moving one way. But from the outside, from the edge of the cosmic spiral, you would see a rewind, a perfect reversal that leads not to nothing, but to the next beginning. The loop completes. The next begins. You open your eyes again. A baby breathes. A star is born. A universe glows. Same as before. Or is it? Some scientists argue the loop is never truly identical. That even in a perfect collapse, tiny fluctuations emerge. Quantum uncertainty slips in like a crack in the glass. So while the universe may loop, it may never replay. Exactly the same. Slight shifts. Different galaxies. Different stars. Different stories. You again, but not quite. Familiar, but new. Perhaps that is the truest form of eternity. Not endless repetition, but endless variation of the same song. A chorus that rhymes, but never repeats. And maybe that explains the feeling you get when something seems known before it happens. Maybe you've been here, not once, but always. Maybe the universe has rewound before, and maybe you are the echo of a thought from long ago, not trapped, but returning, not repeating, but remembering. Because if the universe loops, you are part of its rhythm, not just a note in the melody, but a chord that sounds again each time the music plays. And as you rest tonight, let that possibility carry you, that even if the stars fade, even if the galaxies fall, the loop continues. And in that loop, so do you. If the universe loops forever, what does that mean for you? Not your atoms, not your orbit around a star, but you, your thoughts, your choices, your story. Is it all just repetition, or is there something deeper in the rhythm of return? For thousands of years, humans have wondered if life is a cycle. Ancient texts speak of rebirth, of seasons turning, of souls returning to the earth, only to rise again in another form. And now, physics echoes that thought, not in poems, but in numbers, in models, in cosmic microwave patterns, and equations that don't know where time begins. It brings us to a question. as old as consciousness itself. If everything comes back, then what is the point? Some say it means nothing matters, that in an eternal return, your choices fade, your life dissolves into inevitability. What's the point of trying, if it all comes around again? But others, dreamers, scientists, seekers, offer another view. They say, it matters more, because in a looping universe, nothing is ever truly lost. Everything leaves a trace, and everything returns, carrying the echo of what came before. Your kindness, your grief, your laughter, they ripple outward. And maybe, just maybe, those ripples return in the next loop, shaping the world to come. Not the same, but resonant, familiar. In this vision, the loop is not a prison, but a pattern, a canvas, a spiral where meaning builds, layer by layer, cycle by cycle, each revolution of the cosmos, adding another note to the melody of existence. Your life is not a one-time flame. It is a spark in a sequence, a brushstroke in a painting that never finishes, but always evolves. And if that's true, then every small action echoes forever. Every thought, every word, every quiet act of love becomes a thread woven into the tapestry of countless loops. You are part of that weaving, always, now and next and again. And maybe that's why the idea of return doesn't feel cold or mechanical, but sacred, because if the universe returns, then you are a participant in a cosmic memory, a memory so vast that even the stars may remember you. And what if the purpose of the loop isn't perfection, but discovery? What if the universe loops, not to repeat, but to learn, to become, to experiment, to evolve? You again, but wiser. The cosmos again, but richer. The same, but better. Like a musician returning to a melody, improvising a new phrase each time the chorus comes. And maybe that's the miracle. Not that we return, but that in returning, we get the chance to choose, to do it differently, to love more freely, to listen more deeply, to see not just forward, but around. A circle is not the absence of direction. It is direction refined. It is a path with no end, but infinite meaning. And so tonight, as you fall deeper into sleep, you do so with the quiet knowledge that this moment is both fleeting and eternal. It will pass, and it will return, not exactly, not identically, but truthfully, softly. This moment, your breath, your heartbeat, your awareness, is part of the rhythm that binds the universe together. And whether or not you believe in destiny, or souls, or stardust memory, there is one truth you now carry gently. If the universe loops forever, then meaning is not erased. It is recycled, not lost, but folded into the next becoming, like light, returning to the sky. And now, you've reached the edge, not the edge of space, not the edge of time, but the quiet edge of a thought that loops. You've drifted through expansion, through collapse, through theories and whispers, and circles in the sky. You've listened to ancient light. You've felt the slow breath of the cosmos. And you've wondered, again and again, could it all come back? The universe may be vast, but it is not careless. It moves with laws, with elegance, with rhythm, and rhythm always loops. It returns. It balances. It hums with a deeper order we barely understand. If the universe loops forever, then nothing is truly gone. Nothing is wasted. Not even you. The stars you've watched. They've watched this story unfold many times before, and they will again. The galaxies that spin like slow pinwheels across the dark. They are dancers in a choreography older than beginnings. And you, yes you, are not an accident. Inside this pattern, you are part of its turning, not an observer, a participant, not lost in the loop, woven into it. The dust of your bones was forged in stars that may have burned in a previous universe. The thoughts in your mind carry echoes from patterns older than memory. Perhaps even now, the loop is closing. Perhaps the expansion is slowing, even if we don't yet feel it. Perhaps somewhere, entropy has peaked, and time is beginning its gentle return, not with fireworks, not with fanfare, but like a tide, a falling leaf, a sigh. And when the collapse comes, whether in 1,000,000,000,000 years, or in a form we cannot yet imagine, it may not be the end. It may be the bridge, the return to zero, before the next bloom, like the moment, before the sun rises again. Dark, yes, but not empty, full of potential, full of breath. And so, as this loop of thought gently draws to a close, you lie here, in the middle of it all, a small being, in a great cosmos that may never stop recreating itself. And you are allowed to rest in that truth, that things return, that meaning is not erased, but remembered differently each time. That love and light and curiosity, they loop too. And maybe that's why this story never really ends. Because if the universe loops, then so does wonder, so does dreaming, so does the soft act of closing your eyes and drifting into the rhythm. So go now. Let go. Let your thoughts fade into that slow, cosmic spiral. Let your breath match the hum of a universe that loops not in chaos, but in calm. You are safe here. You are part of the return. The stars are turning. The loop is closing. And the next one is just about to begin.